tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Yanti Buddhang saranang gacchami, Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Ditiyampi sangham saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sangham saranang gacchami. Welcome, friends, to this Sunday afternoon Dhamma class, and we're continuing going over the verses in the Dhamma Pada, and this week we are covering the chapter 6, some selected verses from the Pandita Vagga, or the wise, the chapter on the wise. It's chapter number 6. And first of all, we're going to look at the verse 78 in the whole Dhammapada list, 78th verse in the Dhammapada. I'm going to recite the Pali verse of that. Na bhaje papake mitta, na bhaje purisa dami, bhajetta mitte kalyane, bhajetta purisuttame. The translation of that is associate not with evil friends, but associate not with mean persons, but associate with the good friends, associate with the noble persons. And so when it says associate with good friends and noble persons, that means, people in the Dhamma. So it means people that are, following the teachings of the Dhamma and have made some progress on the path that you can get inspired by or learn from, and so on, as opposed to sort of what they call evil persons, but we know that evil means is people who are not following the Dhamma, so people who are not really following precepts, and so they basically follow the adage of eat, drink, and be merry, and do whatever you want, and step on other people, well, they get in the way and things like that. So, I mean, that's the general, a general meaning. But basically, it means people that are not following the Dhamma and people that want to lure you back into, doing unskillful things, whether it's, drinking or taking drugs or doing other kinds of activities that would compromise your precepts, for example, your practice of skillful karma and so on. Because again, It's very easy. Whatever birds of a feather flock together, as they say, is the old saying. And that's because of that strong pull of the karma and the habits. So there's a story behind this verse, and it says the Venerable Channa, who was formerly the charioteer of Prince Hartha. So this person named Channa, who became a monk, he was the Siddhartha before the Buddha. Before he became the Buddha, Siddhartha is a prince. This person was the prince's charioteer, and he actually accompanied the prince on his great renunciation, and was there when the Buddha cut off his hair and beard and donned the robes of a mendicant. He gave them to the Channa and the horse, and Channa took them back to the palace. So this Channa was a little bit kind of proud and conceited, thinking, "Oh, I was with the Buddha when he renounced the world," and so on. And this person became a monk, but because of this pride, he was a little bit obstinate, and he wasn't such a very good monk overall. But anyway, this because this Channa thought that, he was with the Buddha when he renounced, and he was the first person to really see the prince in the monastic garb. He thought he was even had more access to the Buddha than the chief disciples Sariputta and Moggallana. So this Channa used to rebuke the chief disciples, kind of maybe putting them down or talking down to them, thinking that, "Oh, I knew the Buddha before you did," and so on. So the Buddha advised this Channa on good friendships, and telling that these chief disciples are your great friends, and associate with these kind of people, and not to associate with people like Devadatta, who was the Buddha's cousin. Anyway, so that's that one verse. So that's why people that are practicing the Dhamma, they should, especially if you know your weaknesses. Let's say if you formerly, if you had been smoking or drinking and you're trying to quit, then don't hang out with people that still smoke and drink. That means until you've reached a level of inner integrity and discipline, that you won't be swayed by these persons, or lured back into doing things that you may not like to do, like get lured back into going to parties, and then they're going to egg you on to have some drinks, or take drugs, any number of things. Let's go to Las Vegas and do some gambling or something. So avoid hanging out too much with these kind of people, but seek out people that you can always talk to Dhamma with. Okay. Again, if any questions on any of these come up, you can write them down in the chat, and we can look at them at the end. Okay, this next verse, verse 79. I'll chant the Pali again. Dhamma piti sukham seti vipassanena cetasa Arya pavidyati dhammi sada ramati pandito. The meaning of this is, he who abides the Dhamma abides in happiness with the mind pacified. The wise person ever delights in the Dhamma revealed by the Noble One. And I'll read the story that's behind this particular verse. It's an interesting story. Well, it's very short, but so there was a king that had become a monk, it seemed, and this former king attained arahantship. It doesn't say how long he had been a monk after ordaining, but he attained arahantship. And then after he had attained arahantship, he was always exclaiming, "Oh, happiness, 'tis bliss, oh, happiness." And the other monks who used to hear him saying this thought that he was having dreams of when he was a king, and he was remembering his happiness of when he was a king. These monks, of course, couldn't read the king's mind, so they didn't really know why he was saying, "Oh, happiness, it's happiness." They thought he was remembering his time as a king. But then the Buddha uh, of course, could read this monk's mind, and of course knew that he was an arahant. And so he corrected these other monks who were presuming uh, that he said, no, he's not dreaming of when he had been a king before. He's mentally enjoying the bliss of Nibbana. And so that's why this king was kept on saying that 'tis bliss, 'tis bliss. And this kind of relates back to the verses we were looking at last Sunday about trying to judge people, judge people where just because of their past or their actions or what where they would be reborn, or judging them now and so on. So, these monks were premature judging this person, thinking he was caught in his old sensual pleasures, but he was actually exclaiming the bliss of the meditation, the bliss of Nibbana. And because I'm sure most of you, you've been meditating, all of you have been meditating for some time. And I'm sure that at least in some meditations or for short periods of time, you might have also felt like, um, exclaiming, it is bliss, because when the mind gets quieted and rests in the present moment without thoughts of the past or future, and just resting, feeling the subtle vibrations of present moment awareness and the piti and the sukha, you understand why a person would say, "Oh, it's bliss." Of course, there's many levels to that. But even in mediocre, kind of low-level stages of concentration and mindfulness, that's still uh, compared to one's neurotic and narrow-mindedness and confused state, even a low-level type of concentration and awareness is like night and day from when one's mind is beset by the five hindrances. So anybody out there in any of your meditations since you've been meditating, or have you ever had that urge to kind of shout out some blissful exclamation when you're meditating?
Bhante, not shout out, but
Well, I didn't mean actually shouting. inner
yes,
shouting, kind of like,
yes, inner you do from time to time when you have been able to um, ward off the thoughts and settle down into the meditation, yes, yes, you do feel, definitely, you feel what a relief it is.
Yes. And that's wisdom, knowing that we shouldn't have to always be plagued by our negative states of mind and monkey mind. That there is deep underneath all of that confusion or emotional states and so on. There is this constant level of bliss awareness, which is present moment awareness. It's always available to uh, connect with if one knows how to bypass all of the five hindrances. But that's the skill in meditation. I mean, really, 90% of meditation practice for most people is just learning how to dodge that obstacle course of the five hindrances and knowing how to weaken their power. Because otherwise, the mind would always be in that state of bliss awareness, actually, if it wasn't for the five hindrances and the fetters. Okay, let's go on to this next verse. I'm going to read this will be verse number 80. Udakam hinayanti nettika usukara namayanti te janam darum namayanti tachaka attanam damayanti pandita. Irrigators uh, guide the water. Fletchers bend the arrow shafts. Carpenters shape the wood. But the wise person controls them, their mind and their body. So some of these words, some of you may not be familiar with. So an irrigator is somebody who, a farmer out in the field who's digging canals and water channels and learns how to shut one off and open up another one so that he guides the water where he wants the water to go, uh, to water the plant. And a fletcher is somebody who makes arrows. Uh, so they have to, straighten out bent pieces of wood so they're straight. And carpenters can shape the wood and make it into, a number of things. They could just a gross tree trunk and shape it into a piece of furniture. So they're, controlling the material matter. But the wise control themselves, their own mind. So I'm going to read the story accompanying this verse. It seems that there was a boy of 7 years old who entered the order. So a 7-year-old boy became a novice because that's the minimum age, I think, that they allow young boys to become monks, even nowadays in Thailand or Sri Lanka. I don't know, maybe it's even younger, but anyway, this novice was accompanying his teacher on the alms round. So the novices would go out with their monk teachers to collect their daily alms. So they'd wander through the fields or the villages collecting the food, walking behind the teacher. And this novice noticed these people working out in the fields. So they noticed people digging trenches and guiding the water in different rice paddies and so on. And they saw people, on the sides of the road, making arrows, because in those days, bows and arrows were used quite a lot, and carpenters. And so this novice was asking many questions to his teacher about, what these people are doing. And so then this novice thought to himself, if inanimate things can be controlled like that, why can't I control my own mind? See, what a wonderful question for a young boy to ask. The young boys these days, ask their teacher that. Probably not very many, right? You know, so the teacher might be explaining all these things, how scientists are controlling the weather, they're controlling this, they're that, they're building all these Mars rovers, controlling the material world. But did they ever ask the teachers how to control our mind? Be great. So that young novice and the teacher then probably told him, yes, about the meditation. So this novice went to his cell, meditated, and attained arahantship while he was still a boy. You see? So, it can be done. But, nowadays all the young people want to do video games and are almost constantly glued to their cell phones and marveling in all this technology. But why don't they ask the teachers about the mental technology? The Buddha was a master of mental technology. We're not downplaying, the regular modern technology, but the mental technology that's available in our own mind, developing, concentration and wisdom, developing the factors of enlightenment and so on. The process of vipassana meditation, the scientific investigation of the mind and of reality and consciousness. People are not much doing this. I mean, of course, we meditators were doing it, but generally. So yet this young boy even attained arahant. So that's the point. We're all, we're trying to, most of the world, they're training their cats and their dogs, right? And the bow, and they're, training their dogs to bring the slippers and the newspaper and to roll over and do all these things, which is great. In the army, they're teaching dogs to sniff bombs and, things like that. They're controlling and training these animals, but what about their own minds? A lot of them have a lot of mental disorders too. They come back, you a mess sometimes in their minds. Uh, but anyway, so that's the main takeaway: is that it's more important to control ourselves than to control others, because others ultimately we can't control. But and it's not difficult to easy to control our mind, but it is possible by following the right teachings and the right method, and by having spiritual friends that can encourage you in that and help you in that when necessary. So now, having gone over those verses, I think I'll stop it with these three verses and open up to see if there's any uh, questions on any of these three verses. Looks like there's no chats. So um, if anybody has a question that they want to ask by unmuting themselves and asking a question, then feel free to do that.
Bhante, I put a question in the chat if you can please look.
Uh, shouldn't one, for metta and practicing friendliness and compassion, befriend some foolish person to wisen them up? Now, one can befriend a foolish person, or it's not politically correct these days to call somebody foolish, I guess, but uh, in terms to help them. But if they don't want to accept the help, and instead they try to get you to indulge in their foolish or unwise ways, and you find yourself kind of slipping back into that, then one should cut that off and not to hang out with them. But we can, try to, uh, you know, be friendly to people that are, not in the Dhamma and so on. Like some of my old friends from high school when I came back after many years as a monk, and they weren't into Dhamma much. But I still kind of kept up a friendship with them. But I was strong enough not to get caught up into their ways, and even though they still might have gotten high and so on, we still could kind of have a friendship and so on. And I would teach them some Dhamma and so on, although they, one or two did get into eventually get into meditation, but some of them I couldn't really stop them from their bad habits, and they wound up killing themselves with alcohol and drugs and so on. But I didn't, you know, I, really that's their karma, and I didn't feel bad about that. I couldn't save them because some people are just, are not going to be able to really uh, get a hold of that in this life. But as long as you're not getting overly influenced by their indulgence in unhealthy kind of things, but you can at least be there and be friendly with them and try to, be an example of something that maybe it'll rub off and maybe it won't. But so, yeah.
Thanks, Bhante. So I think maybe the lesson that comes out of this is to keep a balance. Is it?
Yeah, keep a balance in the middle path. I mean, these people that I was, referring to, I mean, they were friends of mine actually since junior high school, so a long, long time. And even a couple of them they accompanied me on my trip towards India, but, they didn't make it all the way. And, but anyway, coming back to my hometown and visiting my mom, we still could meet and, go out to camping or something like that, and have fun. And so on, but take walks. And so. Okay. Any other questions? If not, we'll take a short break and then come back and do some stretches and then have our meditation. So anyway, we'll take a short break now and then we'll come back and then see if maybe uh, somebody might have a last question, but before that. So go ahead and take a few minutes break to use the bathroom or get ready for the yoga. Okay, friends. So we can have a longer yoga session today, since there weren't that many questions. So try to stand straight. Just gently close the eyes. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel the weight of the body pressing the feet on the ground. Feel the sensations of the socks touching the feet. Try to feel the straight legs over the feet. The arms and hands hanging from the side. Feel the head balanced on top. Just try to mentally feel that outline of the standing body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. Taking a few seconds to slowly expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Holding the air in the lungs. 2 or 3 seconds. And feeling the last bit of air go out in the lungs on the out breath. Just take a few deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. And the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch the head back, bend back a little bit. The out breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of the head. Again, in breath, stretch upwards. Out. Third time, hold that upward. Stretch longer. Bend back a little more. And release the fingers. Out breath, arms back to the side. Relax. Keep the attention focused in the body. Feeling the increased body sensation in terms of clothing touching the skin, the inner pulsation, or other sensation. Just remember the present moment of standing, standing, standing. Letting go of your thoughts. Let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, or keeping the sensation body in the front of the awareness. Okay, on the next in breath, push up on the toes, raise the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other. Out breath, arms back to the side, feet to the floor. Use the breath to help lift the body up. In breath. Good. Out. In. Out. Close the eyes. Keep feeling the sensation body. Close touching the skin, subtle pulsation. Standing, standing. Next, we'll do the knee bending. On an in-breath, again, push up on the toes, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees, lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down to a squatting position. In-breath, push back up. Feel the strength of the leg muscle. Out-breath. in, out, in, out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, and the pulsation. Your clothing touching the skin. Present moment awareness, here and now. If there's any sounds heard in the rooms, hearing sound vibration coming and going, the space of body awareness. Okay, next we'll do side bending, using one arm at a time. On an in-breath, raise your left arm up. Keep the arm close to the head, fingers and arms straight. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. Try to keep the arm straight. Don't bend the elbow. In-breath, lift up. 2 more times, same side. Out-breath. Out. In the out-breath, lower that arm. Raise the other arm. In-breath. Out-breath, left. In-breath. Out. Out-breath, lower the arm. Keep feeling the whole body. Standing, standing, standing. Now spread the feet apart. The wider the better. These 3 feet. And hold the arms out to the side. We'll do twisting from side to side. Breathe in. On the out breath, look to the right and turn to the right. Keeping the eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, come back to the front. Let the feet turn with the body, then to the left side. In breath, front. Into the right. Out. Once more to each side. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the hands touching the leg. Clothing touching the skin. The head balanced on top. Different sensations on the face. This body here and now. This body is the natural resting place for the mind whenever it's not engaged in activity, going to the past or future. Should be able to just rest the mind in the present moment. Vibration. It's like getting a mini battery charge in our consciousness. Standing, standing, standing. Okay, now we'll try the alternate toe touching. We're holding the arms out to the side. If you haven't seen this before, you can watch one time. But on an out breath, you bring the left arm across and down to try to touch your right leg below the knee or as far down as you can reach down toward the foot. And then look up at the other hand over your head and carefully come back up on the in breath. And on the next out breath, the other side, the right hand to the left leg. In breath coming up. Go ahead and do this with me now if you haven't already. Out breath. In, out. In, out. In, out. And relax. Yeah. Keep feeling the whole body. Like you listen, subtle body shaking. The activated life force. You feel that outline of the body. And then standing straight, do the head turning. In breath, turn the head to the right. And look over your right shoulder. Turn your eyes further to the right. Let's see something behind you. Out breath, 180 degrees back to the left. Look over the left shoulder, turn the eyes to the left. In breath, right. Concentrate into the neck vertebra. And the last exercise we'll do is the forward and backward bending, or holding the arms of the hands are out facing the front, the open palms. On the in breath, lift the arms up and gradually open them out to the sides as you bend back. Open the arms out to the horizontal position at the side. Look up at the ceiling. Carefully lift up on the in breath, keeping the arms out at the sides. On the out breath, lower the arms and hands down toward the floor. Touch the floor with the hands. Try to keep the legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin standing up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath. Open the arms out to the sides. Bend back. In. The arms out at the sides. Out breath. Again, standing up. In breath, open the arms out, bend back. In breath, lift up. Out breath. As you come up this time, bring the hands together with the chest. Back to the sides on the out breath. Relax. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating with activated life force. Start to feel or imagine that activated life force and oxygenated blood permeating, saturating, suffusing the whole body, mind, nervous system, billions of cells, tranquilizing, healing life force. Feel those subtle vibrations all over the body. Opening the mind to rest in the present moment. You almost feel like you're standing on a vibrating machine. It is bliss, full happiness. Okay, friends, so let's go back to our seats. Get ready for the sitting meditation. Okay, friends, so we'll start our meditation now, and I hope having done those yoga exercises, you've got some increased connection to the body and body sensations. We use that to help keep our mind centered in the body in the present moment. Just try to sit straight. Just try to find the center of gravity of head and spine over the hip. Place your hands one on top of the other in your lap, or rest them on your legs. Wherever you keep your hands, try not to move them during the whole meditation period. Now bring your total attention down to feel the weight of the body pressing the seat, pressing the floor underneath. It's like looking down to a magnifying glass. Just kind of look down to the microscope and focus the awareness. Try to feel where your buttocks press the seat. And feel those 2 points where the right and left buttock press the seat. Feel that pressure, feeling subtle sensations, the pulse of blood, where the buttocks press the seat. And just remember or understand that now this body is sitting here and now. And allow the awareness, move the awareness down the legs, toward the knee, as though you were kind of taking a video of the mind moving down the body to the knees and down the lower legs and to the feet. Just feeling the different sensations. When you get down into the feet, first try to feel the heels of the feet, sensation in the heels, and observe one foot at a time, both together. You feel subtle pulsation. And feeling the rest of the feet, the foot, each foot, the arches, where socks touch the skin of the feet, and then the toes, start to feel the outline of the feet in the mind's eye. Feeling any different sensation, socks touching the skin of the feet, where the toes touch each other, where the foot presses the floor. Try to feel that aliveness in the feet, the blood pulsing, the prana, life force, electrical energy. Just remember sitting. His feet belong to this larger sitting body. Let the awareness move up to feel your hands and fingers where they touch together, where the hands touch the leg. Try to notice the outline of your thumbs or other fingers, the subtle pulsation or other sensation. Just keep refocusing the lens of concentration to bring the hands into a clear outline. Turning up the power of the mental microscope, which is concentrated awareness. And now feel the weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Feel where the clothing touches the skin of the shoulders and arms. Just remember sitting, sitting. Moving the awareness up to feel the base of the neck, the outer neck. Sensation of the clothing touching the collar, touching the neck. And hair touching the neck. And you kind of feel inside the throat if there's any itchy or scratchy sensations in the throat. Sensation I like to swallow, cough. Now feel the head balanced on top of the neck, keeping the chin lifted up level to the floor. Sort of imagine you balancing a soccer ball on top of a broomstick. Keep the chin lifted up level. Imagine you are balancing a tall stack of books on top of the head. Keep the attention alert so the books don't fall off. Just mentally feel that alert posture. And feel your face, sensations on your face. Sensations of the skin stretched over the skull. Very subtle prickling sensation. You'll feel the lips touching together. The upper lip touching the lower lip. Feeling the sensation of dryness or moistness in the lip. And feel the tongue laying in the mouth, where the tongue may touch any teeth. Now feel the nose, the outer nose. Subtly prickling sensation in the nose. Even if you feel inside the nostrils. Take a few deep breaths. Feel the air touching inside of the nostril. Breathe deep enough, you might even hear the sound moving through the nostril. Now feel the eyes resting in the socket, and the eyelids stretched over the eyeball. Feel the subtle eye movement, the blood pulsing in the capillaries of the eyes, the eyelid. Relax the eyes. You might see some color or light or mental image or just darkness. Now try to feel your ears, the outer ears. You feel the air touching the outer ear. You might feel a magnetized sensation around the ear. And try to feel the inner ear canal. Listen very closely, you might hear inner sound, very faint, high-pitched, shrill kind of noise, high voltage electric wires making that sound. And the sound of the brainwave activity. Just keeping the attention kind of centered there behind the eyes. Sort of imagine if you had a video camera on inside the head. It's just behind the eyes. Just as you look out of the eyes in the outer world, the eyes close, you can see and feel the inner world of sensation. It's like taking a silent video of the inside of your head, feeling the sensation, feeling the eyes, the nose, the mouth, forehead, the lip. And opening up the lens of the camera to feel the outline of the whole sitting body in the arms, chest, buttocks, legs, and feet underneath. That general outline of the sitting body. Just try to hold that outline of the sitting body there in the mind's eye. Sitting sitting, sitting, natural present moment awareness, grounded in the body, centered in the body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing again, like you did during the yoga, taking a few seconds to fill up the lungs from the bottom to the top. Feel that expansion in the upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs a few seconds. Allow all the oxygen to get into the bloodstream. Feeling the last bit of air go out of the lungs on the out breath. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10. Try to develop a more continuous, concentrated awareness. Try to continue to take some deeper, slower breaths if possible. Help stay focused. With the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Feel the pause. With contracting out breath, also count to 1. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In breath, 3. Out breath, 3. In breath, 4. Out breath, 4. In breath, 5. Out breath, 5. In breath, 6. Out breath, 6. In breath, breath 7. Out breath 7. In breath 8. Out breath 8. In breath 9. Out breath 9. In breath 10. Out breath 10. Now discontinue the counting. Let the breath return to its shorter, uncontrolled rhythm. We continue to feel it, continue to observe it with the video camera, concentrated awareness, feeling all the sensations of the incoming breath, the brief pause, all the sensations of the outgoing breath, and the brief pause. Let feel the sensation of the clothing rubbing against the skin, the abdomen, rib cage, your chest. You expand, you contract. That's what you mostly feel. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes you feel it more in the abdomen, sometimes you feel it more in the middle or upper chest. Sometimes the in breath is longer than the out breath. The out breath is longer than the in breath. It's part of the clear comprehension. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Try to get the feeling that you're a scientist sitting in the laboratory. This body is the laboratory for the meditator. Looking down the microscope of focused awareness, turning up the power of the microscope. Notice subtler and finer details, sensation. In the breathing process, or other sensations coming and going around through the breathing body. And just try to get the feeling that the mind is a video camera, just taking a continuous video of breathing body. At the same time, be alert for thoughts or other mental activity going through the mind. Start to see those thoughts just moving through the back of the mind. Just be aware of them. They try to lodge themselves, carry you away. Keep letting them go. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the awareness. It's like the news bulletins going across the top or bottom of the computer screen. Keeping the sensation body in the front of the awareness. Remembering sitting, breathing, breathing in, sitting, breathing out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. There's two things always going on within our body and mind. One is the flow of physical sensations, changing, coming and going. And the other is the flow of our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, emotions, moving through the mind. Vipassana awareness, train ourselves to be able to observe both of them concurrently. When the mind is calm and centered, you can easily feel both the body and mind processes going on. From that state of detached, onlooking awareness, as though you were sitting in the balcony seat of the theaters, observing this movie, the sitting, breathing body, and the mind with its different urges, ideas, opinions, thoughts. They go on by themselves. Awareness is just the passive witness. The flow of impermanent, present moment awareness. Sensations come and go, feelings and thoughts come and go. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. And all these are just the conditioned body-mind process, powered by the past karma. Just beneath all of that change and impermanence and mental chaos, confusion, is the ever-present awareness, present moment awareness, the natural consciousness. It's not affected by what's going on. Like the surveillance camera and security camera in a house. It records or knows what's going on, but can't do anything. You get lost in thinking, recognizes lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back to the body, back to in sitting, out, out, sitting. What perception arises based on that sound vibration? Sabbi Sankara Anichati. Sabbi Sankara Dukkati. Sabbi Dhamma Anattati. Yada Panyaya Pasati. Atani Bindati Dukhi. Ismago Visuddhya. Dukkha Patta Nidukkha. Bhayapata Nibbaya. Sokapata Nisoka. Hontu sabbi pipanino. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to change and vanish away. When one sees these in all conditioned things of clung to with ignorance, brings stress and suffering. And all dhammas, the conditioned dhammas, as well as the unconditioned dhammas, are without any indwelling owner or controller. They are not self, not I, me, or mine. When one sees these three characteristics with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Now to finish the meditation, let's finish by sending out some metta radiation, metta vibrations to our own body and mind and all other beings. Combine this with some deep, slow breathing. Again, try to do some deep, slow breathing, and after the in-breath, hold the air in the lungs several seconds. Try to feel that surge of oxygenating blood. Try to feel that as pleasant life force vibrations permeating all the cells of the body, mind, nervous system, charging them up with life force and awareness. Just imagine that being the sending metta to your own body and mind. Just keep taking a few more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating these thought vibrations. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. May I be free from anger, hatred, greed, fear, and ignorance. May I be free from the pains and sufferings of body and mind caused by previous karmic, unskillful karmic thoughts and actions. May I have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I continue to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma and the practice of meditation to help free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. Try to keep taking a few more deep, slow breaths like that as you're holding in the breath. And on the out breath, imagine sending these metta thoughts and vibrations out for your family members, your parents, even if they've passed away, other family members, relatives, good friends, colleagues you have at work, other people, strangers on the street. Just with each out breath, imagine these vibrations going further and further afield, going through the bodies and minds of all the beings, tranquilizing the fires of the greed, hatred, and delusion, soothing the pains of the physical and mental suffering, awakening the seed of love and wisdom in their heart. Just with each out breath, imagine these waves of metta vibrations going out across the whole country to eventually surround the whole earth. These warm, friendly metta vibrations. The idea that may all living beings, wherever they might be well, peaceful and wise, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from pains and sufferings of body and mind created by their past karmic thoughts and actions. May all beings be able to hear the Dhamma and practice meditation to free their minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together, understanding the ultimate interconnectedness and interdependence of all things. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. It's like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. Now place your hands at the edge of the knees. Take one more deep, slow breath. You're breathing in, stretch the head back. Pull the hands against the knees, arch your spine backward. Hold it a few moments. On the in-breath, lift the head up. On the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. On the in-breath, lift the head up level. The out-breath, relax. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, it brings our Saturday afternoon program to an end. And, if anybody is not in a hurry to go off, if anybody has any questions about the meditation practice, Dhamma in general, that we could spend a few minutes with that. If you could just you can just ask a question on your own, unmuting yourself, having a question about the meditation practice.